Welcome, bienvenue and willkommen. My name is Kelly Lamb. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at Miele. As all of you are at home, safe with your families during these very unique times that we are all facing, we want to ensure that we are continuously here for you. Some of you have questions for us about products that you already have in your home. Some of you have questions about products you're interested in buying. And some of you have questions about the services that we continue to offer during these times. With Miele Live, we want to cover all of this for you. We want to be able to share with you how to best get clean dishes out of your Miele dishwasher, how to take care of your clothes in your Miele laundry machines, how to utilize our various cooking products through the live demonstrations we're offering. Pour ceux d'entre vous qui ont demandé pour des sessions en français, on travaille actuellement d'avoir des sessions pour vous dans les semaines qui viennent. Miele Live is completely interactive. If you're watching by logging in through your YouTube account, be sure to ask live questions for us in the comment section. Or if you're watching us on mielelive.ca, be sure to tune in and leave comments in the comment section on mielelive.ca. We're so excited today to cover for you a very unique topic in regards to cooking. We're going to cover off the topic of the Miele steam oven. And what we want to share with you today is things that you didn't think you could do with your Miele steam oven. I'm with our product expert, Marilyn. Hi, Marilyn.
Hello.
We got an exciting half hour, a jam-packed half hour today for our viewers. And hopefully we're going to entice their appetites, do things that they didn't think, they think they could do in their steam oven. So I'm going to let you start off first with your dish.
Great, thank you, Kelly. Hello, everyone. So what I'm going to actually prepare is a one-tray pasta. This is all done in the steam oven, and it will run for about 10 minutes. It's going to run for about 10 minutes. And after that, once I put it in there and take it out, we're just going to add some Parmesan cheese on it, and it'll be all set to go. So let's get started on this right now. Very, very simple. 12 ounces of spaghetti. I chose spaghettini because it's thin as well, easy for it to cook. I have one whole onion, and I'm just going to put onions on either side. And that's it.
And again, Marilyn, this would be a great dish to do with the family at home.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether it's helping prep and chop, because it's actually a pretty easy dish
very
to cook.
Yep. And I've thinly sliced 4 garlic cloves. And once again, just putting it on either side of the pasta. 12 ounces of cultivar tomatoes. Cultivar is just different colors, tomatoes that I put in there instead of just a solid cherry red. So I'm just going to put on each side.
It looks pretty easy so far.
Very easy. And that's it. And then I'm actually going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. Just going to sprinkle this on here for that flavor to come out. 1/4 teaspoon of freshly black cracked pepper. And if you'd like, I'm actually going to pour 2.5 cups of water in here. But what I was going to say is that you could also add some red pepper flakes in here. Some people like it a little bit spicy, some don't.
I think we do here.
Yes, so I'm going to just add 1/4 teaspoon of pepper flake. That's it. It's that simple. And you don't have to worry about it completely being immersed in the water in there, because the steam will generate moisture as well in there. And I'm actually ready to put this in. So I'm just going to turn the oven on. I'm going to send it to operating mode, steam cooking, and this will cook for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to set it for 10 minutes, press OK. And I'm going to just slide this in. And remember as well, for steam, you do not have to worry about what level that you put this on. So in 10 minutes, we'll have this, we'll pull the pasta out, and then we'll make sure to have your Parmesan cheese ready to grate on there and some olive oil, but we'll be good to go. So while this is cooking, Kelly, what is happening on your side? What are you preparing in our steam oven?
So I'm actually going to try to put together a dish that you didn't think you could actually do using the steam oven. So right now, as we head into spring, although here in Toronto it is a bit cold right now, but I know everybody's out there getting their barbecues ready and ready to enjoy a bit of springtime. And you know, typically you would want to grill a burger on a barbecue, but what we thought we would share with you today is a steamed cheeseburger. So this is actually a Connecticut steamed cheeseburger. It's very popular in the city in the US. And so we thought we would share this with you. It's a very straightforward dish, and you'll just see exactly how easy it is. So I've got about a pound of medium or lean ground beef. You can use extra lean if you want, but because we're actually going to do this in the steam oven, there's no additional oil. I like burgers that are a little juicy, so we've chosen lean. It's very, very simple. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to salt. I'm going to add some freshly ground pepper. You can add whatever type of flavors you want in your burger. So in this particular case, we're not using any type of filler, so there's no breadcrumbs, eggs to mix in. This is really 100% beef, which I'm going to mix in a minute. Then over here, I've got a mini loaf pan. You can really use any type of shape pan that you want that you could actually do the individual burgers in. But if you look up a Connecticut steam burger, this is actually the shape that they actually do, and so that's why we've chosen these mini loaf pans. And it's a really straightforward recipe. So first of all, I'm just going to go ahead and mix the beef here. Make sure that all the salt and pepper are mixed in. We're using a grass-fed beef. And I'm going to take about, each burger is about a quarter pound, give or take. And I'm going to go ahead and actually press the burger patty right into the pan itself. So each patty is about, Marilyn, I think we did about 3/4 of an inch,
right,
thereabouts.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And again, you can flavor the meat as you wish. Whether you want to put some garlic powder in there, whether you want to put a bit of spice in there, that's totally up to you. We're keeping it very clean.
Kelly, does it matter how thick you make the burger? Will the timing?
The timing will change a little bit. So we're doing this, again, it's about 3/4 of an inch thick. It's about a quarter pound thereabouts. You're going to see we're going to do this for 6 minutes. I'm going to quickly wash my hands. But it will add a bit more time in the steam oven.
Okay.
And then one thing that we're going to do, so it is a Connecticut steamed cheeseburger. So what I'm going to do, I'm done with the beef right now, so I'm going to put that aside. And we have some 5-year-old aged white cheddar here that we're actually going to use.
Yep.
And we're actually going to steam the cheese in the other side of the loaf pan at the same time that we're actually doing the beef itself. I'm actually going to cut maybe a little bit more.
I was wondering when you were going to put the cheese in, if it was at the same time or
Yeah,
separately.
that's the beauty about really this dish and how easy, honestly, it is. It depends how much cheese you want. And that is it. So we're ready to actually go into the oven with this dish. So I'm going to take this pan, I'm going to go right over to the steam. We're going to use pure steam. This is the Miele combination convection steam oven, but we're actually using the steam function. I've got a wire rack in there. It could be a solid rack as well. It really doesn't matter for this particular recipe. And we're going to go operating modes. I'm going to go into steam cooking, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. And for this particular recipe, again, about a quarter pound each. It's probably a little bit less, 3/4 of an inch thick. We're going to cook this for 6 minutes. We're going to hit OK. And that whole process has started. So really, it's as easy as that. We're using a really good quality beef, which I really would suggest for this recipe because you're going to taste the true flavors of the beef. You're going to see how juicy it actually is. And we're going to steam the cheese and the beef at the same time. 6 minutes, 212 degrees Fahrenheit steaming temperature. So while we wait for that, Marilyn, I'm going to hand it back over to you because I think you got a couple more tips and tricks again of things that people don't realize they could actually use the steam oven for.
Right, thank you. Something that I wanted to show is that, you know, if you've got kids at home and they have sticky fingers, they're eating something, inevitably every time if you have a paper towel that you're wiping their hands, it could get stuck on them. So what I do at home is this little trick basically is just a damp towel that could be coming out of the steam oven, whether it's damp or dry. For kids, I do it dry. For adults, a lot of times I may put a little bit of moisture on there and then put it in because it heats it up a little bit more. But I've put 4 towels in here. I've used a perforated tray, as you can see, and that's to get the actual heat coming through from the bottom and also on the top. Very simple procedure for this, and I'm going to use it in the steam oven. But I can also do this in our combi steam oven, which again, I've just put it in here and show you how it's laid down. But in this case, let's do it in our steam oven. So I'm just going to turn it on. And to find this, you have to go under MasterChef. So when you press MasterChef, scroll all the way down till you get to Special, which is right there. And when you get to Special, it says heat damp towels. You can press OK. I'm going to put this into the oven. I'm going to close it. It says start now, and I'm going to say yes. This will take 2 minutes for us to, for you to take this out, and then you'll notice. I'll actually have you try one, Kelly, just to show the difference. But like I said, the kids, I don't dampen it too much because the heat otherwise will get a little bit hotter, but I put it in dry, but when you come out, you'll see exactly what can be done on here.
And I love that one, Marilyn, because, you know, it's great for dinner parties.
Yes.
It's great for even if people are doing backyard barbecues where, you know,
Yes.
sticky ribs and hands and
Yep.
stuff like that, but also from a sustainability
Yes.
aspect of things. So today we're celebrating Earth Day,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we've really, in the previous sessions, we've asked everybody, you know, to do just that extra little bit to help, and it makes a big
Right.
difference. And I think,
Yes.
you know, there's an example of one way where we're not using paper towels. You're able to actually use,
Yes.
you know, rewashable
Yeah, exactly.
cloths.
Exactly.
When it comes to Miele, sustainability and the environment is very much part of our core philosophy.
Right.
What else, Marilyn, is there in regards to the ovens per se around the topic of sustainability?
It's always an interesting question because there's so much that we want to do for the environment. And with Miele, what we do for us here is that if you notice that if I have something cooking in the oven, the minute I open the door, the fan will stop. And what that does is prevents the heat from escaping out.
So
you're just
wasted
blowing
energy
that
and heat
energy.
that's going out.
Exactly. Once you pull this out, you check your food, see what's going on. And when you close it, the fan will actually start up. So that's a great way, for sustainability and for us to know that we're conserving that energy that's in there.
That's great.
So that's one of the few things as well
I
that
didn't
we
know
have.
That's great.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
and when it comes to waste as well, a lot of times we look at food waste.
Yes.
And, I think we try to be very conscious here about when we prep food and what we keep things for, whether stocks and those type of things. I know that in my back cupboard at home, there's a lot of times where there's jars of things, and very
Yes.
specifically, we use a lot of honey.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, that last little bit of honey, nobody wants to get in there. It hardens, it crystallizes, it's in the back of my cupboard.
Right.
What can we do to actually not waste that and actually put that to good use?
And that is a great question as well. And what I wanted to show here is that normally, as you mentioned, on the back of the cupboard, this honey is starting to crystallize. So you can see, let me just open this up. Can't see much, but when I look into that, I can actually start. It's not as liquidy as this honey. So this is nice honey. When you want to use it, it's just going to pour out. But if I were to do this, I'm
And you can see the
stuck.
crystal starting
Yes,
on
all
the.
starting.
I can honestly say mine at home is a lot worse than
Yes.
that one. But you can already see that crystallization forming.
Right.
So what can we do to actually save that honey?
So when this happens, what you can do is, again, you just go to either program, whether it's your steam oven or the Combi Steam, and turn this on. Once again, you're going into the Master Chef to special. And let's just kind of look at this for a few minutes again. It's giving you selections here. So you've got the decrystallized honey, dissolved gelatin, heat damp towels, make yogurt, melt chocolate, render fat, or steam onions, which is great, especially I'm thinking of your burgers now. If you wanted to do
next
that,
time
you could do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to select decrystallized honey, and I'm actually going to place this into the oven, just the way it is. And I'm going to say start now. This will take an hour and 30 minutes. So some people might be saying, an hour and 30 minutes, wow, that's a long process. But what we want to do is that we don't want to disturb the molecules that's in the honey itself. So if it melt it too early so that it becomes liquidy, what will end up happening, you're going to take it out and it'll just start to crystallize again. So it has to be a very slow process. So that's an hour and a half. And when this will come out, actually, it will be liquidy, just like this honey right here. So try this at home if you do have crystallized honey. And I do that a number of times when we have so much honey and then we forget about that. But while I was talking, I noticed that my program is already finished for my damp towels. So I'm going to just take them out. And this is them. And when you look at them, you think they're dry. But Kelly, since we're doing our distancing there, I'll have you take a towel.
Oh, it's perfect. It's not wet.
Yes.
And it's.
Exactly.
That's great.
It's really nice, especially we're washing our hands so much now as well. Just having a nice towel maybe at the end of the night and, warm your hands. And then when you're creaming it before going to bed, that's also a good idea to do that. So.
But again, I think great for dinner parties. Again, it's totally sustainable because we're making sure that we're reusing, reusable towels, hand towels that we have. So that's actually a great solution.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So that's two ways. Then and there are so many different things that you can do in your steam oven, but. That's right now. I wanted to maybe point that out to customers.
Great. Marilyn, maybe we have a couple of minutes.
Yes.
I'm also looking at your pasta, and
yes.
We got a couple of minutes. Maybe we can take a couple of questions.
Sure.
And then we'll talk a little bit about maintenance.
Yes.
Before we go there. So Brandon has a question. Do the steam ovens have a standard boil feature? So Brandon, I'm not sure if you mean broil or boil. If it's boiling, really the steam process itself takes the place of boiling.
Yes.
So if we look at a more traditional way of boiling water and boiling broccoli in water, where a lot of the vitamins actually dissipate into the water itself. Really, we've introduced the steam process, and steaming has existed long before Miele steam ovens, but the process of steaming really replaces boiling.
Yes.
If you're talking about broil, in the combi steam oven, there is a
Well, if you're talking about boil, like, are you saying boil or broil?
broil
Broil.
in the combi steam.
Yeah, the combi steam, we do have a broil feature that's up on the top, and you select that. There's different levels, 1, 2, or 3, that you can use. And especially sometimes if you're using it with a combination of steam and broil, what it'll do is that it'll steam your food, and then near the end, it will turn that down, and then the broil function will come in. So,
Okay.
but as you had mentioned before, you know, it has to get to 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's your boiling point there for the water to create that steam that's
Steam.
inside the oven.
Yeah, so if you're talking about boiling, really think about steaming as the alternative to traditional boiling.
Yeah.
And that's why you'll actually see as well. By the way, the pasta's smelling fantastic.
Yes.
Marilyn, I can smell it. The boiling gets really replaced by the whole steam process itself. So that's what's there right now. So I'm going to talk a little bit about and we'll come back to some questions. I know there are more questions right now. We will come back to them in a minute. But I want to quickly talk a little bit, Marilyn, about the cleaning process or the maintenance process. And I really want to look at it as maintenance because we get a lot of questions on both the steam oven and the combination convection steam oven
Yes.
on maintenance
Right.
and cleaning. So on the steam side of things, it's pretty straightforward.
It is straightforward. You're just literally going to take a cloth, dish towel that you may have, and then wipe the interior. So you would wipe the bottom. Kelly, if you could just show them on the bottom in there. And then you could remove the rack. And then the sides as well come out, so you can even wipe that dry. And then that's it. That's the main maintenance that you're going to be using for a steam oven. In the combi steam, it's a little bit different because unless you're just using the steam function in the combi steam, but if you're using that broil feature where you have oil splattering on the inside, what you do want to do is we want to actually let it cool and then to get a cloth and wipe that out, because what tends to happen is that if you don't clean that out, somebody else comes to the oven and they just want to turn on the oven. What will start happening, you'll cause a glazing effect on the inside of your oven. And then it's going to be even harder for you to basically get that out. You can remove it, but you should just, the habit is that you use it, cool it down, wipe it out, and your oven will stay clean for a long time.
And the combi steam oven, Marilyn?
That's the one. That's the one I was saying. Yeah, in the combi steam oven.
Perfect.
Yeah, and we have some.
Yeah, so we do have some products available
Cleaners.
for you. So one thing we want to share with you as viewers this evening joining us, or this late afternoon joining us, there's a lot of sounds going
There's
on
a
because
lot of
all the
sound.
ovens are getting ready, and I really smell the pasta because I'm close by. Be sure to have a look on Miele.ca at the available cleaning products we have for your ovens and cooktops. Right now, if you go online on Miele.ca, the shop, as exclusive to you, the viewers joining us today, if you enter this promotional code upon checkout, which is STEAM10, upon checkout, you'll get an additional 10% off any existing promotions we have online right now, which is already at 10% off, and it's free shipping on any orders. So make sure you try to take advantage of those offers right now. Marilyn, you're ready?
It's almost. We're just doing the steam reduction.
Okay.
And that will give me a couple of minutes there, but that should be finished.
Okay.
And then I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to plate it, and just to show you what the finished item will be like, the food.
Perfect. So why don't we take one more question in the meantime?
Sure.
While we wait. So Don Chang, Don, thanks for joining us today, has a question. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the newer steam ovens with the special functions, the MasterChef functions. For the towel and the honey function, is that's still at 212 temperature, or are there other temperatures we need to use specifically for those programs?
For the honey, it's not a 212. It's going to be lower. I would have to, since you don't have that in your oven right now, but we could probably find out what the temperature is on there,
Yeah.
and then email that back to you just so you have an idea.
So Dawn, what we will do then for both the towel and the honey, specifically since you've asked on those two, because they are MasterChef programs, the settings are actually hidden, but actually we will get that information for you, and we will be sure to email you that. So hang tight and we'll get that to you in the next little while.
So I'm actually ready.
So I'm going to let you
Go.
plate. Well, I think if the people were here, you really would be able to smell it,
Yes.
because all the freshness from the fresh tomatoes, the basil, that's amazing that that's really a one-pot dish
Yep.
or
And
one-pan dish.
Exactly. And I'm just putting a little bit of olive oil to just loosen this right now because, as we mentioned, we're not stirring this in between. So, we're not stirring this in between. And I just want to loosen this. But the pasta is actually cooked right through. So I'm just going to loosen it. Some more. Then I'm going to mix everything together. Now, when I was doing some testing on here as well, 2.5 cups of water was great, but what you have to sometimes keep in mind as well is that if your tomatoes are really juicy, it will create a little bit more additional heat, not heat, but liquid in here. But this is smelling really, really nicely here. I'm almost done.
And Marilyn, one question that we do have from a viewer is, does it matter what type of pasta you use? So instead of I think we used a spaghetti or spaghettini.
Spaghettini, yeah.
Can you use a penne? Can you use a linguine?
Yes, a great question on that. I've actually tested this with the penne as well, and it turned out excellent. So you can do that even with the linguine. So I'm actually going to just scoop up. And you can see, like, just as I'm lifting this up, like the pasta is actually, it's all cooked. Just going to put that on here. I'm just going to tear up some fresh basil. Also going to put just a little sprinkling of salt, freshly cracked pepper, Parmesan cheese. Now, you know, with Parmesan cheese, you have to watch because you can put as much as you want, as little as you want, depends how much you would like to have on there. And actually, I'm going to finish this with just a drizzling of olive oil. And I am good to go. So there's our one tray pasta that we did for 10 minutes in the oven, the steam oven.
I think, Marilyn, that's a perfect recipe for a healthy lunch while people are at home.
Right.
Right now, it's so easy to make, but honestly, if you were here, you'd be able to smell the aromas of the basil,
yes.
the tomatoes. It's so fresh. You know, Marilyn, you could even be steaming a chicken breast while
Yes.
actually you steam that tray of pasta.
Absolutely.
So it could be a bit of a side dish with the pasta and then some steamed chicken breast.
Right.
Very healthy lunch.
Yeah. And what a quick meal in 10 minutes, really. It's done.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I heard on your side with the steamed cheeseburger.
Yeah,
it
so
was
that's
ready to
that
come
was
out.
done a little bit earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those out right now as we speak. So, and one thing you'll notice, of course, this is a steam burger, so it's very different than your traditional burger. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab one of my fresh buns here. I'm going to then go ahead and pull one of the patties out. And if you would be able to see in here, the amount of juices in this burger is incredible. And now the cheese is actually completely melted in here. So I'm actually just going to slide the cheese right out. You can see that. So that's done. And then I'm just going to choose my condiments to go on this burger. So I'm going to maybe have, and actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to leave the burger as plain because I'm going to slice it to show you the inside of the burger itself. So I'm going to take a serrated knife. I'm going to go right through the burger to show you. And you can actually see how moist
Oh, yes.
and juicy the burgers
Yes.
actually are.
Nice.
And it's such also a really simple dish. We have various garnishes, however you want to do the burger afterwards, it's totally fine. We have some bib lettuce, some dill pickles, some tomatoes, some onions, ketchup that we actually made here. We have some Dijon mustard. We have some aioli, some hot pepper. So however you want to garnish, but it's such a simple meal, so quickly
Yes.
to do,
Yeah.
and all done in the steam oven. There's
That's
not
right.
so many pans to wash.
It's true.
I know from one viewer we had a question about what type of loaf pan we use. So this isn't actually a Miele loaf pan. We don't have mini loaf pans. But again, if you want your burgers bigger, you can do them bigger. But we wanted, in this particular case, we wanted to try to honor the Connecticut steam burger, and this is actually what they
Right.
did. So
That's great. We'll put yours then
yeah, I'm going to put that with
side
you.
here.
I've got a couple of, a relatively healthy lunch. I got a couple of carrot fries there.
Yes.
That you can also steam as well in the steam oven, and we have the pasta, which looks great.
Yes. I mean, I'm dying to try your.
And I'm
Steam
dying
burger
to
too.
try yours. So hopefully for those of you that are at home, we'd love for you to try these dishes with us. Hopefully as simple as they can be. Before we end, I want to see if we can take some questions, Marilyn.
Sure.
I know we have an answer already from the question about the programming. If you maybe want to give that answer
Sure.
for the decrystallization as well as the programs and temperature settings for the towels.
Sure. So for the decrystallization for the honey, you can use the steam cooking at operating mode at 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And that would be, or 60 degrees Celsius, and that would be for 90 minutes. So once again, I think it was Dawn that had asked this before.
I think so.
Yes, so that would be 140 degrees Fahrenheit for that. And for the damp towels, we recommend the steam oven again to set it at 160 for 2 minutes. So that's fast and simple, really. So it doesn't make it extremely hot to handle. And it'll be, knowing now that those temperatures, Dawn, you'll be able to do this now in your oven that you have at home.
Yeah, so even though you don't have the MasterChef programs, Dawn, you'll easily be able to actually replicate that program there. So we have a question from Deb, and I think Deb has watched us before. So thanks for joining us back, Deb. Deb actually has a very good question. I'm not sure I have the answer, Marilyn, so maybe you will. Do you know if a kitchen sponge could be disinfected by putting it in the steam oven?
Interesting fact. Well, once you get it at 212 degrees at boiling point, you literally are disinfecting that sponge. So one of the things to do would be to, before putting it in, you want to rinse it, squeeze it out really well so that there's not any liquid in there. Then put it in a tray, a solid tray, obviously, and or perforate it. Really, doesn't really matter. So you'd put it in there and then set it at the 212. And you know what? You could probably put it in there for about, I could say 5 minutes in there, 5-6 minutes again, and that will kill any of the bacteria that's in there.
Great. So I know we are really running out of time, so let's try to take one more question,
Sure.
Marilyn.
Yes.
So JStar11 has a question. Did you make the buns in the steam oven? If so, could you send the recipe? So no, we actually did not make these buns in the steam oven, but ironically, Marilyn's actually going to be back on Friday
Yes.
at 5 o'clock
Yes, I'm going to be back.
Eastern Standard Time, and we're actually doing a class on, some demonstrations on bread baking using the Miele convection oven
Yes.
and the MasterChef program. So I think, Marilyn, we're doing a Italian loaf.
Making an Italian loaf, and I'm also going to be making a jalapeno cheddar loaf as well. So stay tuned for that. It's
Yeah.
going to be delicious.
And JStar, if you are interested in a recipe for a burger bun, we will try to send you one. And if not, we'll
Yes.
actually try to do a live demo for you on that.
Yes.
So time has run very quickly.
I know, I can't
Thanks,
believe it.
Marilyn, for that. I'm
welcome.
really hungry
Yeah.
after seeing that. And hopefully our viewers are and have really enjoyed these really two simple dishes that we've done. Try it at home. We strongly encourage that. We want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. Remember, if you are interested in buying any appliances right now with us, there are different options for you. First of all, Miele.ca, our Miele shop is open 24/7. Any orders that contain Miele Care Collection products, our vacuum cleaners, our countertop coffee machines, there's free shipping right now. We want to make it as easy for you as possible. If you are interested in major domestic appliances, you can also buy those on mieleshop.ca. Our Miele installation and delivery teams are working across Canada right now. Of course, we have some modified procedures to ensure the safety of you, our customers, as well as our own team. You can find out more about that on Miele.ca as well. You can also utilize our personal telephone product consultation. You can speak one-on-one with one of our product experts. If you're interested in buying after that, they can actually take the order for you over the telephone. Later next week, we're really excited to bring to you an all-new service, our Miele virtual sales consultation. You'll be able to book on mielelive.ca an actual two-way video conversation from one of our Miele Experience Centers across the country with a Miele product expert that will be able to answer any particular question you have right in front of the product, and they also can actually help take the order for you in that virtual product consultation. So that's a new service we're launching next week as well. So while you're at home, you want to still celebrate with friends or family, we have the Miele e-gift card, which makes the perfect gift for a friend or family member. You can also get that on Miele.ca. We want to thank you for joining us during Miele Live tonight. We hope you have a fantastic evening. But very, very lastly, on behalf of Marilyn, myself, the entire Miele team, we want to send a very large thank you, appreciation to all the frontline and essential workers out there that are servicing all Canadians right now, whether it's ensuring that our grocery stores are open. Of course, those that need medical attention are getting the medical attention they need. Public transportation, making sure everybody can still get around that needs to get around, but we do encourage you to stay at home, safe with your families. We will all get through this for sure, but we just want to send a really big thank you out to those essential frontline workers right now. Happy Earth Day. Have a fantastic evening with your family, and we look to see you again on Miele Live on Friday. Thank you very much and have a great evening.